In this tutorial, I'm making a pistachio chocolate chip shortbread, which is topped with a cherry jam, finished with marshmallow and a dark chocolate coating. To garnish, we're using slivered pistachios. Prior to starting this tutorial, you may want to watch one of our videos on tempering. Starting with the chocolate chip pistachio pastry. Now I should mention the ground pistachios can be replaced with ground almonds, and you can leave the chocolate chips out if you want to. So to create the pastry, I'm using some unsalted butter, which is at room temperature. Combine that with the ground pistachios. I've ground these up myself, so I've just done that in the food processor. And some sieved icing sugar. Combine these ingredients until the butter is completely smooth and you ensure you have no lumps of butter. Then we're going to add in some salt. It may separate when you add the egg in, but it will come back together once we add the flour, and we're not relying on mixing the butter and sugar for aeration. Vanilla bean paste. Add in some baking powder. It doesn't all have to have come together before you add in the dry ingredients, because it will as soon as we add these in. Some plain flour or all-purpose flour. And some chocolate chips. So I've taken the Callebaut dark chocolate and I've chopped it. It needs to be quite fine because we are cutting individual discs, and if the pieces are too big, it makes it hard to cut the individual discs out of the pastry. Add that in. Now mix it until it just comes together. You don't want to over mix it at this stage because you don't want to develop the gluten in the flour, otherwise your pastry can shrink. Press that into a neat flat square, and it needs to rest in the fridge so the butter can re-solidify for approximately an hour before we roll it out. I'm going to roll the pastry out now to approximately 3 millimeters in thickness. Lightly dust the bench surface. Dust the top of the pastry. This is straight from the fridge, so I'm just going to be gentle with it at the start so it doesn't crack. Lift it up regularly to ensure that you can redust the bench surface so the pastry doesn't start to stick. I'm cutting this with a 35 millimeter cutter into individual discs. I'm placing that on a tray which is perforated, lined with a silpain mat, which allows air to travel through and ensures that the shortbread discs are going to be completely flat. These are going to lift a little bit because I do have some baking powder in there, but they're not really going to expand. We're going to bake these in a fan-forced oven at 170 degrees Celsius. We're looking for a light golden brown color. I'm making a cherry jam. If you want to make a raspberry jam, you can replace the cherries with raspberries. These are frozen cherries that are defrosted, so I'm just placing them into the saucepan together with some liquid glucose. If you haven't got access to liquid glucose, you can use a light corn syrup. I'm going to combine together the sugar, citric acid, and the pectin. The pectin is going to help us to set the jam, as is the acid, which will give us the correct pH for the pectin to set. I'm going to heat the cherries and the glucose up to 40 degrees before we add in our dry ingredients. I'm going to add in the dry ingredients. I'm going to whisk that continuously until we reach 103 degrees Celsius. That's reached 103 degrees. I'm now going to emulsify that with a stick blender. Place plastic wrap on the surface so it touches the surface, and cool the jam down completely before we use it. Make sure this is cool and piped onto our individual biscuits before you start the marshmallow. I have the cherry jam here. I'm going to place it straight into a piping bag. And we pipe a small amount in the center of each biscuit. Don't do it too close to the edge because it will come out underneath the marshmallow. So we just need it in the center. Next, we're going to create the marshmallow. So set these to the side and have this ready to go before you start making the marshmallow. For the marshmallow, it's really quite simple. We're setting it with gelatin. So pre-soak the gelatin in a bowl of chilled water. The water has to be well below 28 degrees Celsius because that's the temperature the gelatin will start to soften and dissolve. I'm going to place water A into the mixer. You want the gelatin to be hydrated, which means it's soft and pliable once it's absorbed enough water. In the saucepan here, I'm going to combine some water, so water B, and some sugar. Once the gelatin's ready, I'm going to start boiling the sugar and water and boil it just until the sugar's dissolved. Then we're going to pour the syrup over the water and gelatin and then whisk them together until really light and fluffy. It should double in size. You can see now the gelatin is really nice and pliable. Gently squeeze out any excess water and place it into the bottom of the bowl. Start boiling the sugar and water. Turn the syrup off. Start whisking the gelatin and the water and pour the syrup in. Increase the speed, and this is going to take approximately 10 to 15 minutes, and we're looking for a beautiful white marshmallow which will have doubled in size. The marshmallows come up beautifully. As it's cooled down now, I'm going to add in some salt and some vanilla bean paste. You don't want the marshmallow to cool completely. Under 28 degrees, the gelatin will start to set, so it will be difficult to pipe, but you still do want it to hold and not move once piped. So pull your whisk up and make sure that it's not spreading when you turn the whisk over, and then you're ready to pipe. I'm using a 14mm plain round nozzle. I'm going to push the bag into the nozzle so the marshmallow doesn't come out. We do have a great tutorial in our library on different marshmallows if you're preferring a different style of marshmallow. I will say the dextrose-based marshmallow in our marshmallow tutorial will have a slightly longer shelf life. I'm going to pipe halfway towards myself and then spin the tray around. Going over the jam and then pulling up. Give the marshmallow approximately half an hour to set before we start dipping it in dark chocolate. You need to temper the dark chocolate for dipping. We do have great tutorials in our video library on tempering if you need some guidance. I'm ready for dipping. I have a combination of dark chocolate and cocoa butter, which is just to thin the dark chocolate out. Now, in some shapes, like if we were to make 2 pieces of shortbread with marshmallow in the middle, the chocolate with cocoa butter cracks, so we add oil. In this scenario and this shape, the way it contracts, it doesn't crack. So pick your filling up, try not to touch the marshmallow, turn it upside down in the chocolate, tap it down with your fork, and spin it around. It's really an easy one to dip, very, very light. Tap it on the surface to draw off the excess chocolate, wipe it on the side, and then we place it down. Now I'm using some pistachios, which I buy already slivered. You can just chop some pistachios, but if you're going to chop some pistachios, maybe blanch them first to remove the thin skin. Only for a second in some boiling water, dry them completely and then chop them. The reason I'm dipping upside down and then flipping it over, it's a great way if you've got an unusual shape to avoid trapping any air. The other reason with this style of product it's very good is because the marshmallow wants to float. So if you try to coat it in chocolate, it can be very challenging. These aren't difficult to make. You can break it up and do it step by step, but I do recommend that you coat the marshmallow in chocolate within 24 hours of piping the marshmallow. Once you make these, they're best eaten within a week, but I'm sure they will not last that long. I hope you enjoy these beautiful little decadent marshmallow treats.